Have you ever woken from a dream that felt too real, as if someone beyond this world had written it for you? Ibn Arabi said, "Every dream is a trust given to the dreamer, but some trusts must never be spoken. Stay till the end. You'll learn which 7 dreams should remain only between you and God." Have you ever kept one like that? Comment where you're watching from. Have you ever woken from a dream that refused to leave you? One that clung to your chest long after morning light filled the room? You lie there, eyes open, the image still burning behind your eyelids. Maybe it was a face you recognized. Maybe it was a place you've never seen. You tell yourself it was just a dream, but something deep inside whispers, no, it wasn't. There are dreams that vanish like footprints on wet sand. And then there are those that stay, not because they are frightening, but because they feel like a message you can't quite explain, yet you know it was meant for you. You feel a pull, a weight. But the question is, what do you do with it? In our age, people rush to share everything. A beautiful sunrise, a passing thought, a dream that shook their heart, all uploaded, captioned, posted. We live in an open window world where silence feels strange, but the mystics saw things differently. Ibn Arabi said, "Every dream is a trust given to the dreamer." A trust, not entertainment, not gossip. A sacred deposit from the unseen, placed carefully into your heart while the world slept. If someone handed you a sealed letter from God, would you read it aloud in the marketplace? That is what many of us unknowingly do when we speak of dreams too soon, too casually, too widely. Because every dream carries energy, and words can scatter that energy like dust in the wind. Think back to a time when you told someone something deeply personal, and their reaction drained the life out of it. They laughed, doubted, or misunderstood. That's what happens when you speak of sacred dreams before their time. The moment you hand them to others, you hand over the protection they once had. Ibn Arabi believed the spiritual world reveals itself only to hearts strong enough to hold its light. And when that light is shown to those unprepared, it dims, not because it loses power, but because it loses purity. He wrote, "There are dreams that are mirrors of divine mercy and others that are veils of divine wisdom. In both cases, they are meant to guide you inward. The mercy dreams comfort you. They remind you that you are seen, loved, and remembered. The veiled dreams challenge you. They stir your fears, test your patience, or bring forgotten pain back to the surface. Either way, the dream is not random, it is tailored. So when you wake up shaken, ask yourself, why did this come to me and not someone else? Could it be that your heart is being called to understand something your mind has ignored? Every dream is like a lantern placed in a dark hallway. It doesn't light the whole path, just the next step. And that step is yours alone to take. There's an old Sufi saying, "Silence is the first language of the heart." When a dream comes heavy with meaning, the first thing to do is stay silent. Sit with it. Feel what it stirs in you. Not every dream needs to be spoken to be understood. Some are meant to ripen inside you slowly, like fruit hidden behind leaves. The more you hold it in prayer and patience, the clearer it becomes. Sometimes you might not understand it for weeks. You might even forget it, only to see it unfold later in real life. That's when you realize it was never just a dream. It was preparation, a warning, or a gift disguised as mystery. So the next time you wake with a racing heart and a dream that feels too real, don't rush to tell anyone. Instead, whisper this prayer from the saints. O Lord, if this dream is from you, make me worthy of its meaning, and if it is from myself, purify me from what it reveals. Because that's the first truth Ibn Arabi wanted us to know. Not every dream is meant to be shared. Some are meant to be lived. And every dream that visits you carries a message only your soul is ready to hear. In the quiet world of Sufi understanding, dreams are not dismissed as illusions. They are mirrors held up to the soul. Ibn Arabi, known as Sheikh al-Akbar, the greatest master, said, "The dream is the meeting place between the seen and the unseen, between the body that sleeps and the spirit that never rests." To him, a dream was not something to interpret like a puzzle. It was a conversation, subtle, sacred, and deeply personal. He believed that every person lives two lives, the one they show the world by day and the one their heart reveals by night. What you do, say, and feel in daylight writes letters across your soul. And when you sleep, those letters are read back to you. That is why Ibn Arabi called dreams the mirror of the soul. You are shown not what the world is, but what you are. Think of how after days of anxiety or guilt, you may dream of drowning or falling. Or after a period of peace, you find yourself walking through light, hearing soft voices, or soaring through open skies. These are not coincidences, they are reflections. Ibn Arabi said, "When the heart becomes clouded, its visions are clouded. When the heart becomes pure, its visions become clear." To him, dreams were not entertainment, nor were they superstition. They were signs from the inner world, messages designed not to predict, but to awaken. And awakening for Ibn Arabi was the whole purpose of human life. He explained that the world we live in, this physical realm, is only one layer of reality. Beneath it lies the realm of meanings, alam al-mana, where everything that exists has an inward form. What we see here, trees, faces, storms, oceans, are only shadows of their spiritual essence. When you dream, that inner realm opens for you. The symbols that appear are not foreign. They are mirrors showing your own inner condition. A man once asked Ibn Arabi about a dream in which he was surrounded by endless desert. He said, "Does it mean I'm lost?" Ibn Arabi smiled and replied, "You are not lost. You are being emptied. The desert is not a punishment. It is space being made for revelation." That is how the Sufis see what others might fear. To them, symbols are not literal but relational. They reveal your state. A storm might not mean danger, but purification. A locked door might not mean blockage, but protection. A voice in a dream may not be an angel. It may be your conscience given a tongue by mercy. But Ibn Arabi also warned, not every dream comes from light. Some arise from the self, the nafs, restless and hungry for attention. Others come from the whisperings of fear or from what you consumed, spoke, or worried about that day. And a rare few come as divine trust, the kind that must never be shared. The challenge, he said, is to discern which is which. That's why Sufis practice silence and reflection upon waking. They don't rush to claim a dream as prophecy, nor to dismiss it as nonsense. They observe the heart. Did it bring peace or vanity? Did it humble you or excite you? True dreams make you still. They carry fragrance, not noise. You see, in Ibn Arabi's view, the dream's meaning does not depend on symbols alone, but on the state of the dreamer. The same dream can be a warning for one heart and a gift for another, because the dream is not about the image, it's about the mirror, and each mirror reflects differently depending on its polish. So when you wake from a dream that feels heavy with meaning, don't rush to decode it. Instead, polish the mirror. Purify the heart through prayer, gratitude, and stillness. In time, the reflection will reveal itself. Ibn Arabi once wrote, "The dream is the tongue of truth speaking in the language of symbols. If the listener's heart is deaf, even the clearest word will be lost." And that's the secret. Dreams don't confuse us. Our own hearts do. When the heart learns to listen, even silence speaks. There are certain dreams that, according to Ibn Arabi and the Sufi masters, are never meant to be told aloud. Not because they are dangerous, but because they are sacred. These dreams are trusts, delicate bridges between your heart and the unseen. Once spoken carelessly, they lose their strength, their sweetness, and their truth. Ibn Arabi called them the 7 veiled dreams, each carrying a secret meaning that must remain between you and God. Let's walk through each one, slowly, quietly, the way the saints used to teach, not as superstition, but as wisdom. The Dream 1. The Dream of Light. There are nights when you dream of light, soft, blinding, or radiant beyond measure. You might see yourself surrounded by a glow, walking into brightness, or standing beneath a sun that doesn't burn. At first, you might think it's just a good dream. But Ibn Arabi taught that light in dreams is not random. It is revelation. The nature of the light reveals its message. If the light shines gently toward you, it is mercy, the sign of divine nearness. If the light blinds you, it is warning, a call to humble your heart before it hardens. But such dreams are among the most private of all. To speak them aloud is to expose your spiritual intimacy. The light was meant to heal you, not to impress others. Ibn Arabi said, "When the veil of light is lifted, the servant is tested with silence." Because light is not always meant to be described, it is meant to be lived. Lesson: keep the dream of light hidden in your heart. Let it change you quietly, without words. Dream 2. The Dream of the Sea. The sea appears often in Sufi writings, endless, mysterious, alive. Ibn Arabi said, "The sea is the reflection of God's vastness. Whoever enters it must learn to surrender." When you dream of the sea, pay attention to its state. If it is calm, it means your soul is at rest, your inner world aligned with divine peace. If the sea is stormy or dark, it means your heart is being purified through trial. But this dream should not be shared. The sea symbolizes the depths of your inner being. When others hear it, they will interpret the waves through their own fears, not your truth. They will call peace emptiness, or chaos punishment. And what was meant as your guidance will turn into confusion. Lesson: guard your sea. Only you know its depth. Dream 3. The Dream of Death, or Graves. To most people, dreams of death are frightening, a bad omen, they think. But Ibn Arabi saw something deeper. Death in a dream, he wrote, is not an ending but a beginning. It is the ego being buried so that truth may live. If you dream of graves, funerals, or even your own death, it does not mean doom. It often means transformation, your soul shedding an old layer. A Sufi once said, "When the self dies, peace is born." Yet sharing such dreams invites misunderstanding. People will pity you or warn you, filling your mind with fear instead of reflection. That's why this dream must remain unspoken. You cannot explain resurrection to those still afraid of death. Lesson: when death visits your dream, life is being renewed. To dream. 4. The dream of recurring faces. Sometimes the same person appears in your dreams again and again. Someone you know, or perhaps a stranger whose face feels familiar. Ibn Arabi said, such figures are thresholds, not people. They are reflections of parts of your own soul, showing what still seeks balance or healing. It could be an old friend representing unfinished forgiveness, or a stranger symbolizing your hidden potential. But when you speak of such dreams, others reduce them to gossip. Oh, maybe you miss them, or you must like them. They hear only surface, not spirit. The truth is, recurring faces are mirrors calling you inward. If you talk about them, you hand that mirror to someone else, and they may crack it. Lesson: not every face in your dream is meant to be recognized by others. Okay? Tid. Dream. 5. The dream of the sky and stars. The night sky in dreams, Ibn Arabi said, is the book of the heart. Every star you see is a thought, a hope, or a prayer. When the sky is full of stars, your heart is alive with remembrance. When the stars fade, it may mean neglect, the dimming of inner light. But such dreams are not for public telling. The stars you see belong to your soul's horizon, not someone else's. If you speak of them to those who mock or doubt, their misunderstanding veils your vision. He wrote, the heavens reveal the measure of a man's light, but when he speaks of it, that measure lessens. So when you dream of skies, moons, or stars, thank God silently, because these are dreams of grace, reminders that your heart is still reaching upward. Lesson: the sky speaks in silence, so must you. To dream. 6. The dream of animals. Animals in dreams are among the most misunderstood symbols. To most, they are literal. To the mystics, they are the soul's disguises. Ibn Arabi wrote, every creature you see in sleep is one of your own states, shown to you in form. A snake may appear, not as an enemy, but as wisdom hiding beneath fear. If it bites, it warns of ego's resistance. If it rests, it signifies knowledge ready to rise. A bird in flight symbolizes freedom, the soul ascending toward its Lord. But a caged bird shows confinement, the heart trapped by attachment. A lion represents power and courage, but also pride when uncontrolled. A lamb reflects innocence, purity, or the heart's gentleness. Each animal carries your own energy back to you. No one else can read it rightly. Tell it to another, and they may only see what frightens them, not what heals you. Lesson: every creature you see in sleep is one of your own reflections. The Dream 7. The dream of voices or divine words. There are some dreams where words are heard but not seen, a voice from nowhere, a phrase that echoes, a whisper from the sky. These are the most delicate of all. Ibn Arabi said, when God speaks in the night, the wise servant listens but does not repeat. Hearing divine speech in a dream is not a badge of holiness. It is a trust, a test of humility. The voice might carry comfort or warning, but its meaning is not for public ears. The moment it is spoken aloud, it becomes ordinary sound, and its light vanishes. One of Ibn Arabi's students once shared that he heard the words, "Rise, for your heart is being summoned." When he told others, they laughed. Later, he confessed to his master, "The peace I felt that night has left me." Ibn Arabi replied, "You placed the pearl in unclean hands. Its loss is your purification." Lesson: if the heavens whisper to you, answer only in prayer. A closing reflection of Section 3. Each of these 7 dreams carries its own world: light, sea, death, faces, sky, animals, and voices. But the real lesson is the same. Silence is not fear, it is faith. You are not hiding your dream, you are honoring it. You are guarding a trust. Ibn Arabi compared these sacred dreams to seeds. He said, "A seed does not announce itself. It grows in darkness until its roots are strong enough to touch the light." So too with your dreams. Keep them buried in remembrance. And when the time is right, their meaning will bloom in your life. So the next time you awaken with a vision too heavy to describe, don't speak it. Don't rush to label it. Simply say, "This belongs to me and to the one who sent it." Because that is the truth of sacred silence. What God writes in the private language of your sleep was never meant for the noise of the world. When something beautiful happens to the heart, our first impulse is to speak. We want to tell someone to be understood, affirmed, or admired. But Sufis say that some truths weaken the moment they are spoken. Dreams are among them. They are made of light, and light loses shape when handled by too many hands. Ibn Arabi warned, "The one who exposes the secret of his soul loses the blessing of its protection." When you share a sacred dream with someone unprepared to hear it, you invite misreading. The listener may not mean harm, but their doubt, envy, or misunderstanding clouds the purity of what was shown to you. Words carry energy, and once that energy meets disbelief, it becomes fragmented. Think of it this way. When a seed is taken out of the soil before it roots, it dies. When a dream is pulled out of silence too early, it loses its power to grow inside you. You've taken what was forming in the unseen and handed it over to the noise of the seen. Ibn Arabi called this disturbing the calm of the soul. He said that the heart after a true dream is like a lake at dawn, still reflective, receiving light. But when you begin to tell others, their opinions ripple across your surface. Soon you can't see clearly what was there before. The meaning blurs. A woman once came to a Sufi teacher saying she had dreamt of an ocean filled with gold. She shared it with her friends, and they all told her different things. One said it meant wealth. Another said danger. Another said it meant nothing at all. The dream, once luminous, began to feel ordinary. The peace she had woken with disappeared. When she asked her teacher what it meant, he replied, "It meant peace until you broke it into pieces." That's what happens when we expose what was meant to stay hidden. We hand over something tender to minds that haven't seen what we've seen. And they can't help but twist it, not because they are cruel, but because every person interprets through the lens of their own fears, doubts, or desires. There's also something subtler, envy, even from those who love us. When you tell someone of a luminous dream, they may smile, but feel a quiet ache inside. Why them and not me? The mystics called this nazar, the glance that carries heaviness. Not an evil curse, but an energy of imbalance that can drain peace from your heart. Ibn Arabi said, "Protect your inner state from the gaze of those who measure it by their own limits." And sometimes, sharing sacred experiences simply invites ridicule, Not everyone believes in the language of the unseen. Their laughter may seem harmless, but to the soul, it is a wound, because laughter at what is sacred teaches your heart to doubt itself. So what begins as light can end as confusion. What was guidance becomes noise. You start wondering, maybe it wasn't from God. Maybe it meant nothing. You begin to question what was once clear, all because you let too many voices echo in the place where only one voice should have spoken. There's an old parable the dervishes tell. A man was gifted a rare bird that sang only in the dark. He took it to the market to show everyone. The noise frightened it, and it never sang again. That bird, they say, was the soul after revealing its secret. Silence, then, is not suppression. It is protection. It keeps the dream alive where it belongs, in the heart's inner chamber. Ibn Arabi's counsel was simple. Tell it only to God. Speak of it not with the tongue, but with prayer. So if a dream visits you, luminous, strange, unforgettable, treat it as a guest. Let it sit with you in quiet mornings. Feed it reflection. And when you pray, offer it back to the one who sent it. For every dream has two fates. One is to be spoken and forgotten, and the other to be kept and transformed. Keep it. Guard it. Let it work within you, because once you tell the world will make it theirs. But when you keep it with God, it remains yours forever. When a dream comes to you, vivid, heavy, trembling with meaning, the question that follows is always the same. What should I do with it? Do I write it down, tell someone, seek an interpreter, or simply forget it and move on? The Sufi answer, shaped by Ibn Arabi's wisdom, begins not with doing, but with being still. Because in the world of the unseen, haste is a kind of blindness. The moment you rush, you lose sight of what was being shown. True understanding comes to those who learn to listen without speaking. Ibn Arabi said, "The heart has two doors, one that opens to the world and one that opens to the divine. Close the first, and the second will open on its own." So when a dream touches you deeply, your first act should be silence. Don't open the worldly door yet. Sit quietly. Let the dream settle like dust in sunlight. Its meaning will not fade. It will clarify. The first step, then, is reflection, but not mental analysis. Reflection in the Sufi sense means to feel before you think. Wake gently, remaining in the stillness between sleep and dawn, and ask your heart, what did I feel in this dream? Fear, longing, relief, awe? The feeling often carries more truth than the image. Write it down if you must, not to decode it, but to preserve it. The page will hold what your memory might lose, but don't rush to interpret symbols. In the Sufi path, the meaning of a dream is never outside of you. The snake, the sea, the voice, all of them are languages your own soul uses to speak with you. Then, the second step, turn it into prayer. Ibn Arabi advised his students to take every dream, whether luminous or dark, back to the source through munajat, whispered conversation with God. Say, if this is from you, grant me understanding and strength. If it is from myself, purify me from its shadow. This prayer transforms the dream from curiosity into connection. You are no longer analyzing, you are surrendering. The third step, seek alignment in daily life. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The truth of a dream is the meeting of day and night." It means that what you see in sleep is shaped by how you live awake. If your days are clouded with anger, your dreams will mirror that storm. If your days are filled with gratitude, your dreams will carry light. So the best way to understand your dreams is to improve your waking life. Ask yourself, what is this dream inviting me to change? If you dream of being trapped, perhaps you're holding too tightly to control. If you dream of light, perhaps you're being asked to open yourself to mercy. If you dream of water, maybe you're being cleansed through trial. Each dream calls you to action, not interpretation. It's not, what does this symbol mean, but what is this dream asking me to become? And sometimes the action is not outward, but inward. Repentance, forgiveness, surrender. The prophet Joseph, peace be upon him, was shown dreams that took years to unfold. He didn't rush to explain them. He lived them, and in living, the meanings revealed themselves. You see, the real purpose of a dream is not prediction, it's transformation. God doesn't send images to entertain us, He sends them to shape us. A true dream does not end at waking. It continues as a question echoing through your days. So, when a dream stirs your heart, remember the rhythm of the Sufis. Reflect, pray, align, reflect in silence, not in noise. Pray, not for answers, but for clarity. Align, not to what you saw, but to who you're meant to be. Do this, and the dream will become more than memory. It will become motion. It will change how you speak, walk, and look at the world. And when that happens, Ibn Arabi says, the dream has fulfilled its trust. It has carried you one step closer to the truth it came to deliver. Silence is not emptiness. It is the language of the soul before words existed. In the world of Sufism, silence is not seen as the absence of speech. It is the presence of awareness. It is the space where meanings unfold without interruption, where the heart becomes capable of hearing what the world cannot. Ibn Arabi often said, when God wishes to speak to His servant, He does so in the silence of His heart. That's why true understanding of dreams, signs, and divine whispers never begins with interpretation. It begins with silence. To remain quiet after receiving a dream is not weakness. It is spiritual intelligence. It is how the mystic protects what has not yet matured. Imagine a seed placed beneath the soil. If you dig it up every morning to see whether it has sprouted, you kill it. Growth requires darkness, patience, and time. In the same way, a dream must stay buried in the heart until its roots take hold. The longer it rests in your silence, the stronger its truth becomes. Silence also has another function. It separates revelation from ego. The moment you speak, the self rushes in. Look what I've seen. Look what I know. It turns the sacred into spectacle. But when you stay silent, you deny the ego its stage. You remind yourself, this was never about me. It was about what was shown through me. Ibn Arabi wrote, the soul that guards its secret is like the earth that guards its spring. It may appear barren, yet it carries water for those who are patient. The saints understood this. They didn't speak of their visions to impress. They spoke only when silence itself began to overflow into words of service. Silence is also the mirror where divine meanings ripen. Words freeze meaning in place, but silence allows it to move, to change, to deepen, to reveal new layers. Many people rush to explain a dream, to categorize it into symbols and definitions. But the Sufis knew that every dream continues to unfold as you change. The meaning you see today is not the same you will see a year later. By remaining quiet, you give the dream permission to grow alongside your soul. Think of all the noise that fills our world, endless talking, posting, sharing. Everyone is trying to be heard, yet few truly listen. Silence in this age is rebellion. It's how you reclaim your inner world from the crowd. When you choose not to reveal a dream, you are declaring that some parts of your life are still sacred, that not everything belongs to the public eye. There is an old Sufi story about a disciple who once asked his master, "When should I speak of what I've seen in prayer?" The master replied, "When the one who showed it to you commands it, not before." The disciple waited years before he spoke, and by then his words carried the weight of oceans. Silence doesn't hide the truth. It protects it. It allows the fragrance of the unseen to linger without being polluted by opinions. Because once you speak, others will measure your experience by their understanding, and most will not see what you saw. Ibn Arabi said, "Not every heart has the same sky," meaning even if you show them your stars, they may look up and see only darkness. So hold your silence as an act of devotion. Let it become the cloak around your inner garden. When the time is right, what was meant to be revealed will reveal itself, not through your tongue, but through the transformation in your being. People will see it not in your stories, but in your peace. And when they ask, "What changed you?" you will smile softly, because you'll know. The dream that you never spoke became the prayer that shaped your life. So now you know, not every dream is meant to be shared. Some are not messages to be spoken, but mirrors meant to be faced. The saints and sages understood this long before us. That silence is not hiding, it is honoring. It is how the heart keeps sacred what was whispered only to it. When you wake from a dream that feels alive, too clear, too personal, too heavy with meaning, pause. Don't post it. Don't explain it. Don't let others pull it apart with their words. Simply breathe. Sit with it and ask yourself, what is this dream asking of me? Because a true dream doesn't seek an audience. It seeks transformation. It doesn't want to be retold, it wants to be lived. Maybe the dream wasn't there to predict your future. Maybe it was there to purify your heart. Maybe it wasn't a warning of loss, but a preparation for growth. Ibn Arabi said, "The truth of a dream is not in what it shows, but in what it awakens." So tonight, when sleep comes, remember, every dream you receive is a trust. Some are reminders, some are lessons, some are veiled mercies, and some are simply moments when the unseen touches your soul just long enough for you to remember you are being guided. If you've ever had a dream that changed you, one that felt like a message from beyond, hold it close. You don't need to explain it to anyone. Just let it work in silence. Because what God writes in the language of sleep was never meant to be edited by the noise of the world. And perhaps that's the deepest secret of all. The silence you keep is not emptiness, it's conversation. It's how the heart listens when the tongue cannot speak. Have you ever had a dream you never told anyone, one that felt too sacred to share? Share your reflection in the comments below, not your dream, but what it taught your soul. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you don't miss the next journey through the signs, wisdom, and hidden meanings that guide our lives. Until then, remember, nothing is random. Every sign is an invitation.